It's the final drive.
No,
All right, guys, here we go. We're going to start off with Dillon on this one. The team that gets to 13 wins in the NFC will most likely get the 1 seed. Who do you think has the best chance to do it and earn the number 1 seed?
Boy, the San Francisco 49ers do not have an easy schedule coming up. So I'm going to say Seattle. And, I'm not exactly sure what their schedule looks like, but I just think the way some of their pieces are coming together, it's a bummer to see Tyler Lockett not perform these past couple of weeks, but they find a way around it, whether it's Jacob Hollister or splitting time between Chris Carson and Rashad Penny. Still got MVP Russell Wilson getting this thing done, so I think it's going to be the Seahawks.
They play
Same
the Rams,
question,
the
Dave.
Panthers, the Cardinals, and the 49ers. That's their final 4. Same question. We just talked about this earlier. I'm going with the Green Bay Packers. I think Green Bay controls its own destiny and the number 1 seed. 13-3. You play Washington this weekend. You get Chicago at home. Then you go ahead and go to Minnesota. I think they right the ship and finally win at Minnesota. There's a lot of things people said. Aaron Rodgers had so many problems with this many teams, this here and there in that stadium. Guess what? He's done all that this year. And the only one he hasn't done yet, beat Minnesota and Minnesota. Detroit, week 17, I see him 13-3. All the other teams cannibalize each other like we discussed, Jay. All the other teams play each other once, adding on with a couple other tough teams on each other's roster. So wouldn't surprise me to see 12-4 across the board with 13-3 going to Green Bay.
All right. Nice. All right, Dillon. The Ravens will be the AFC champions and go to the Super Bowl. Agree or disagree?
I have to disagree. I think that hot as they are right now, as unstoppable as they seem. I mean, you think about their wins this year with San Fran, handled Houston, handled New England. I believe they had a close game against the Chiefs, if I'm not mistaken. Only bad game really losing to the Browns. So you would think, yes, they'd be the absolute favorite. I still, come playoff time, when the coaches are scheming like crazy and looking in, digging into the past on this quarterback and Lamar Jackson and what stops him and what doesn't, it's either going to be the Patriots or the Titans, I think, to figure out a way to stop Lamar Jackson and beat the Ravens.
Same question, Dave.
Please repeat the question again. I only heard half of it. I'm sorry.
The Ravens will be the AFC champions and go to the Super Bowl. Agree or disagree?
I agree they will be in the AFC Championship, but I have a dark horse team that I think they'll face up, even though I think the Ravens will end up in the Super Bowl. It's the Tennessee Titans.
Tighten up.
I think they get hot at the right time. I think they're doing it right now. A lot of young players coming together, and with a new QB and Tannehill, might have been the missing piece.
That's interesting.
They got the recipe. They're all very well.
All right, Dillo. The Bills will be a wild card team, but they will beat the Patriots in the playoffs.
I agree with the first part. I do think their record is going to be enough to carry them to that wild card spot, but I do not think they're going to take the Patriots out in the playoffs.
So what I'm suggesting is that the Patriots will beat them twice in the regular season. Historically, you do not win the playoff matchup when you face a team 3 times in a season. So then that would give the Bills the favor of winning that matchup. So, yes, they lose. They don't win the division, but then they have to see the Patriots, because I don't think the Patriots are going to get a bye this year. I think they're going to have to play I think they're going to be the 3 seed, honestly.
Oh, dang.
I am saying they will beat the Patriots in the regular season, and they will beat them in the playoffs. Circle the wagons, baby.
He loves to get them riled up.
It's Josh Allen time.
He's a man of the people.
All right, we're going to switch it up quickly. Dave, the Vikings will not make the playoffs and finish 9-7 this season.
I agree. I fully agree. I think they're going to trip up on some games late in the season. Chicago has been a gnarly, foe for Kirk Cousins. He cannot beat Chicago last year, and he couldn't beat him earlier this year. I don't think they beat him again this year. For some reason, he cannot beat that Chicago defense. Like Khalil Mack and Leonard Floyd terrorized that man, and Akeem Hicks is coming back. So that's his favorite person. I think they dropped the game to Chicago and Green Bay, and they may drop another one, but I think they don't make the playoffs.
Dillon?
I do think the Vikings make the playoffs. When you look at how stacked the NFC is this year, it's really crazy when you think about some of these wild card teams are going to have better records than a lot of the division leaders in the AFC and the NFC. Whether you're talking about the Seahawks or the Niners grabbing one wild card spot, and then I do think it's going to be the Vikings that end up grabbing the other one with the Packers winning the division. So, yeah, I do think the Packers make the playoffs and get that wild card spot.
All right.
So you think the Vikings beat the Packers later in the season?
At home? Yeah.
You know that it's on Monday night, and Kirk Cousins is 0-8 on Monday night?
That's just going to add to the drama.
Yeah, shouldn't have mattered against Seattle, right?
That wasn't home.
Seattle is a far worse offense and a far worse defense. Like, honestly, even on the stat sheet, they're not as good. And everybody always says Russell Wilson is he's this dynamic. No, he has far more limitations than Aaron Rodgers does. Like, and they do show up.
Sure.
Just like that whole little stupid double move, like he's in Madden and running back on 13 yards on 3rd and frickin' 5.
And he gets sacked.
And then getting sacked because he gets a heel trip because he's got his back turned and doesn't see the defenders right on his ass. That's the kind of dumb shit that to me, that's why I said he's not elite. He's really, really good, but elite quarterbacks don't do, like, he's been in the league long enough. You should know better than that. That's Russell Wilson and his goofy shit that he pulls that just to me always takes him off that elite status. Elite quarterbacks don't do shit like that at this point.
Perfect example. If you see Rodgers do it and he knows he's going to get sacked, he just drops.
No, he'll throw the ball away so he doesn't take 13-yard loss.
Or he'll just drop. I've noticed last week and the week before, not the Giants game, but the week before that, against San Fran, when after a couple times of getting sacked, he literally just fell because of the fact of he didn't want to take more loss yardage. And the fact of he wanted his best chance, so why keep running for another 10 yards backwards like Russell Wilson did? I agree with you there.
All right. Dave. The Rams will make the playoffs and be the 6th seed this year.
Yes, I think they sneak in. I agree. I just think that they have a talented team. I think that they piece it together just at the last second before it strikes midnight, sneaks in, and then they get rocked out of the playoffs.
Yeah, I'm going to agree with that. And I think that the Rams, they played very well against the Cardinals, as we've seen each team do this year. And you come back down to earth the next week, and it starts this week at home against Seattle.
Disagree with me. How dare you? What is up with you and Kirk Cousins' obsession? I got to ask.
Look, the primetime thing is a stat that, is a stat, so you have to consider it, but it's not real. Okay, it happens to be Monday night. The real is touchdown to interception ratio over the past several months.
None of that shit. See, that's the problem. That is the problem that everybody, including you, gets sucked into with these quarterbacks like Kirk Cousins. Critical downs and distance and critical moments of the games are what matters. I am so goddamn tired of these stupid, this stupid, idiotic, let's look at the stat sheet and not consider when the stats are coming. Kirk Cousins does great in the first and second quarter when there's no pressure on him. You put him in, and he does great in the third quarter and the beginning of the fourth quarter when he's not down by more than 14 points and all the pressure is on him to have to throw the ball and the defense knows it. He can put up great numbers when he can hand the ball off and the scheme gives him play action to throw to wide open guys that can burn down the field for 50 yards. That's great. But guess what? When he loses his running back and in a critical moment, what did you get from Kirk Cousins? Down by 4, 2 minutes and 38 seconds left. He dumps the ball off short on first down. Okay, that's not a bad play. That's okay. You get to the next down. Terrible throw on second down for an incomplete. Terrible pass on third down for incomplete. And on fourth down, he not only gets happy feet, sees pressure that's not there, but he, instead of picking two guys that were wide open on the opposite side of the field that he never looks to, he throws the ball early and puts no touch on it to a guy that has gotten jammed up, that he's been staring down, and turns the ball over. So great. He's got, 400 yards? Great. He had 3 touchdowns. Woo, big effing deal. He is the highest paid guy on that team, and in that moment, it's his job to stand there, even if he's got to hit in the chops and deliver the ball to the guy on time and notice and do all. And what does he do? Nothing. So who gives a shit about all the great stats he put up the rest of the game? He lost that game for them right then and there in those 3 throws, period. And I don't want to hear the excuses for it anymore. If this was Tom Brady or Aaron Rodgers or Drew Brees that did this same shit, they would get eaten alive. Because Kirk Cousins drives a minivan and you like that, and he's Mr. Frickin' quarterback dad, minivan dad. He gets a break that all the other so-called elite quarterbacks that they're being ranked below this guy don't get. Like, screw that. He cost them games. He does it every week. He did it in Washington, and this is why he got paid. He's a GM's nightmare. Watch the damn tape. This is who Kirk Cousins is. It's who he's always going to be.
There's my bay. I knew I could get him on one subject. I knew it, Jay. I just had to mention the name.
It's enough with him. It's enough. Like, the excuses are it's enough. Like, what you can get, what reasons are you? It was on national TV, and this happens over and over again. Like, you can tell me all the other.
Over him still, they were trying to back him up, saying, "Oh yeah, it was a rough loss."
It's not a rough loss. It's garbage. It's bullcrap.
No,
they gave you $85 million guaranteed, and they told you they believed in you. You were bitching that all Washington would do was franchise tag you, even though you made way more money than all the other quarterbacks that were far better than you at that period in time, over some bloviated stat sheets that didn't amount to wins, didn't amount to playoff wins, didn't amount to playoff appearances. You got blamed on the receivers around him, head coaches, defenses, defensive coordinators. But the constant was always Kirk Cousins. And it's on national TV in a critical moment, 3 throws in a row, that he had no excuse why he couldn't complete one of them. And they were bad throws. They were not in position. They weren't on time. He wasn't looking at the whole field. He wasn't reading the defense. He wasn't finding the open guy. Enough is enough with this guy. Like, great. If you want him on your fantasy team, that's great. But stop overrating this guy. Stop telling me he's elite. Stop telling me he's going to take this team to the Super Bowl. Stop blaming the defense. Stop blaming receivers. Stop blaming everybody else. the buck stops with this dude. He's the highest paid player on this roster.